Hey, what's going on? It's Jerry Glean back on the scene here with another video. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 different things you can do to make your mix sound more clear. So let's hop right in and get to it. All right, so the first tip that I have for y'all is something that everybody can instantly apply to their songs, and that's having better arrangements. So choosing how to arrange your beat, where instruments are coming in and out at, which instruments are playing together at the same time. This can have a huge impact on the clarity of your mix. You really need to decide whether each element in your song is actually bringing something to the track, or if it's just taking up space and making it harder for everything else to be heard. Now, I'm not saying to necessarily strip your production down to the bones and only have like 3 or 4 tracks in your song. What I'm saying is to experiment with the arrangement of your track and be decisive with which instruments and sounds are going to be playing together at the same time. All right, so the second tip that I have for y'all is to use an EQ to shape the sound of everything in your mix. The EQ is where you have complete control over the frequency spectrum of your song. If you look at the EQ that I have here for my guitar, you'll see that I took a lot of the low-end frequencies away from the guitar. And the reason that I did this is to make space for the 808 and the kick drum in this mix. Yeah, the guitar would sound good with some of those lower frequencies, but you really have to make sacrifices in order to really carve out a space for each element within the mix. You'll see here on the guitar's EQ that I also took out some frequencies right here at about 2000 hertz. And I did that in order to free up some room for the vocal. The vocal is the main attraction in your song, and you don't want it to be competing too hard with these other elements that are also in the mid-range. So again, I know it would be nice to leave these frequencies on the guitar, but you have to make sacrifices in order to create space. Okay, so the third tip that I have for y'all is to utilize panning within your mix. Now, when you pan something to the left or to the right speaker, you're gonna notice that it instantly creates separation from the other tracks within your song. And this is very useful when you have multiple instruments competing for the same frequencies. So for instance, if you have a rhythm guitar and then you have a lead guitar, a piano, and then you try to throw a vocal on top of that, well, this is gonna create some issues because all of these elements are competing in the mid-range. Using EQ can only take you so far, so in order to deal with this, you have to utilize the whole stereo field that you're given. You have a left and right speaker, you can space things out. You can pan the guitar out to the left, you can pan the piano out to the right a little bit. That way it frees up the middle for the vocal to cut right through the mix. Now, when you pan stuff, you have to think about the overall balance of the mix. This means that if you pan something off to the left, then the left side can start to sound more overpowered than the right side, so you have to pan things in pairs. So for instance, I have this guitar pan 50% to the left, and in order to balance it all out, I found another element within my arrangement that's playing, at the same time as this guitar, and in this case it's the hi-hats, and I pan those 50% to the right. Typically, I only have the vocals, the bass, the kick drum, and the snare drum coming directly up the middle, and then everything else in the mix is going to be panned somewhat to the left or to the right speaker. And it doesn't matter which genre I'm working on. If I'm panning guitars left and right in country music, it's the same concept as when I'm mixing a rap song and I'm panning, synthesizers and pianos and hi-hats. All of those things are going to be pushed to the sides, and then that way my vocal, my bass, my kick, and my snare, the main elements of my song, the stuff that you feel, those are going to be coming directly up the middle. All right, so that's it for today. I hope y'all learned something. If you're still confused about anything, just leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I'll see y'all in the next video.